Okay, starting with this first one of a series of lectures on the Humanities and Doctor Who. We're going to start first with some different aspects of the different episodes that you were asked to watch. With these, the Wasp and the Unicorn, and a few others dealing with some different aspects, the Christmas Carol, etc. And so first we're going to start looking at a little bit about Victorian times in England, because A Christmas Carol does take place, even though it's way into the future, it still harkens back to the Victorian era. And so just wanted to remind you who Queen Victoria was. So she was a Queen of England throughout most of the 1800s. A very stern woman, always seen as not a lot of humor. She was pretty much just throughout her lifetime in mourning because her husband died fairly young, and she mourned him throughout the rest of her reign. She was the longest reigning English monarch. I think the current queen has a couple more years before she has been reigning as long as Queen Victoria. But a very formidable woman. And we have encountered her before, and we'll look at that. But for her, there were several important things. Country, her duty to the country, her duty to build up England, and part of that duty she saw as a moral duty, to show what was right and wrong morally, to show what was right and wrong ethically, and to kind of send out her version of what was moral and not. And so some of the styles that came in and out, again, were frowned upon by the upper class, the aristocracy, because they followed the Queen's, the example set by the Queen. And Queen Victoria always dressed in long dresses, dark colors, because she was always in mourning. You know, the body mostly covered, just her head out for the most part, and hands. So, you know, a very puritanical look almost. And so this starts to spread because one of her other aspects was empire. During her reign, the British government went to its greatest extent. The British Empire went to its greatest extent, covered India, covered, you know, Canada, Australia, all still part of the Commonwealth. You have pretty much nowhere at this time frame, they said, the sun never set on the British Empire, because it spread around the world. And so everyone who wanted to be quote-unquote upper class, or wanted to be upperly mobile, would emulate the Queen. So we have her ideas of morality spreading around the globe. And then family was also important to her. So for the next part, we're really going to be looking at industry and the working class in the Victorian era. This is coming out of A Christmas Carol. We've also seen in The Unquiet Dead, Charles Dickens. So we're going to look at Charles Dickens. This is the time that he was alive and writing. And so we're going to bring in a couple of different aspects of working class life, industry, during the 1800s in England. We've already run across the on-screen version of Queen Victoria in Tooth and Claw. And again, Rose is joking around because the idea is she was so stern and solemn all the time. She didn't approve of many frivolous things, and so she wanted to get the Queen to say that she doesn't approve. But she never got the Queen to say that, because the Queen didn't approve of the frivolousness of asking her if she approved of things. And we saw her as well as the formidable woman who, you know, would kill someone if she needed to, who constantly was under assassination attempts. So she knew how to protect herself. And at the end, she also then drew on the idea of empire and country when she knights the Doctor as Sir Doctor of TARDIS and then tells him to get out of the Empire. She forms Torchwood House uses Torchwood to form the Institute to monitor the Doctor, whether he comes back. And we also see in this episode that they kind of explain away how all of her children had hemophilia, when no one in her family or her husband's did. And that was because of the werewolf bite. Next, we're going to go into city growth.